Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to another episode of Heart to Heart with Bree. I'm very excited about tonight's guest. Her name is Rhonda Coney, and she's the owner of Level Up Fitness. Please introduce yourself to the viewers, Rhonda.
Good evening. Good evening. I get so excited when I talk about Level Up Fitness Studio. First of all, we're located at 1897 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, Suite 202. This is my startup location. I started small, but baby, Level Up's about to level up. So I want y'all to come on board. I'll show you my QR code at the end of the presentation. I am a certified nurse practitioner by day, fitness coach by night. And as Bria and I were talking about behind the scenes, I started this fitness journey. I've always worked out, first of all, but I started this fitness journey specifically after COVID.
Wow.
After working in the COVID unit as an ICU nurse practitioner, watching so many people who are morbidly obese, high blood pressure, diabetes, with those three things dropping like flies. I've never
Yes.
seen so much death and dying in my entire career, and I've been doing this for 33 years as a registered nurse, and I've been a nurse practitioner for 7 years. So I kind of fell into the studio. I never thought I'd have a studio or even be teaching spin, but once I got certified, I my goal was to teach for the spin studio where I was working out, only to find out she dissolved her studio and sold me all her equipment. So that's
Oh,
how
wow.
leveled up, and that was my start.
Wow. So it's amazing as you were coming into this industry, I was kind of slipping by, like I told you, during COVID,
Hmm.
I stopped having a social life. I
Hmm.
was just home, became very inactive. And I
Hmm.
tell you, it's been very exciting to see your videos online.
Thank
And,
you.
so yeah, we'll definitely be talking more about your studio.
Okay.
So, I'd like to ask you, how does working out enhance our lives?
Working out is, I tell people it's my secret weapon because it relieves stress. I feel so empowered after a workout. Exercise releases happy hormones called endorphins. And people say, "You're just smiling all the time because I'm happy."
Yes, yes. I like how you put that because that's exactly how I used to feel when I was working out consistently. And I do
Mhm.
actually miss that feeling. So
Mm.
in your opinion, is it ever too late to start a fitness program?
Never, ever, ever too late. At my studio, trying to find, I have a class called Level Up Lift, LIFT, Low Intensity Functional Training. And this class, the goal for this class, the target audience is those who are new to fitness, those who may have had some type of mobility challenge, those who aren't able to ride the spin bike or even walk around the block. In this class, you have the option to sit. We do a total body workout, all seated in a chair. So
Yes.
the key is movement. Movement is medicine. There's no excuse. You just have to get over yourself, make up your mind, and make the first step. And I promise you, I'll take it the rest of the way.
Yes, and I would like to say that chair workouts are actually very effective.
Yes.
There's a chair workout that I have put together, and I tell you, it's a very good program. So yeah, some people may think, oh, a chair, I'll just be sitting down. But trust me when I tell you, you can do a chair workout and you'll be like, oh my gosh. So yeah,
I'm telling you.
that's an excellent workout. Now, what's the age group of the participants in your chair workout?
Surprisingly, it's primarily seniors.
Okay.
I have some friends who are over like morbidly obese and who I thought would be interested. Those who aren't physically active or participating in any structured program, I thought they would come, but listen, the Golden Girls have made this class their own, and they call themselves the Golden Girls.
That's nice. I like that. I like
I have
that.
I have one participant who happens to be my mother. She's 74 and she
Okay.
had knee surgery because she walks with the walker. But
Okay.
she told me just last week, since she's been coming to class, she's walking around the house and forgetting her cane.
Wow, see? That's so that tells you how beneficial it is. You know, you mentioned those who you thought would come. I tell you, one of my frustrations when I was training, like I would even offer to train people for free, and they did
Hmm.
not take advantage of it. But what I've
Right.
come to understand is that when people are ready is when they'll usually come.
That's
I
right.
have found that because I used to nag people about it and like,
Mm-mm,
hey, why aren't you working out? And, the
mm-mm,
benefits and all of that. But I
mm-mm.
tell you, I've come to find out that it never happens until an individual is ready. I mean, would you agree with that?
100%. Like my riders and my the people who I personal train out, they know I don't run behind anybody.
Yes.
And I have people who ride with me, and if you do exactly what I tell you to do, you get results. And
Yes.
even after a 45-minute spin class, I tell them, I say, listen, you just burned about 450 to 500 calories. You can completely undo this whole workout with one meal.
Yes.
So I always take the posture of putting the ownership back on the individual because we're all adults.
True.
So when,
That
like you
that that
said,
that is so true. That is so true because I tell you, you can become more invested in a client than they are in themselves, and that
exactly.
leads to a lot of frustration. So
Hmm.
no, I totally get that. So now let's talk about nutrition. How
Hmm.
important is nutrition? I like that you mentioned you could do a workout and then do all that hard work with one meal.
Right. Well, as I tell my riders, they'll tell you, I am not in your kitchen. So I encourage them. I don't believe in fad diets. I don't believe in elimination diets. I believe, God says whatever you pray over it is blessed. But
Yes.
and also in the Bible, it says gluttony is a sin.
Yes.
So a lot of people eat more because it tastes good, it feels good. I get that. I love food too,
Yes.
don't get me wrong. But even in Adam and Eve's days, they were in the garden.
Yes. Yes.
Fruits and vegetables, they were in the garden. And we have the freedom to eat what roams the earth. So not nowhere in the Bible is there anything processed or packaged or sitting up on a shelf. So I think as
Yes.
people get more into choosing food that's more natural. I'm not saying become a vegan. I'm not saying become a
Right.
vegetarian. I'm not saying don't eat eggs, eggs, cheese. I'm not saying that. But as people begin to make it a priority to have more of those types of foods on their plate, then they will start to lose the unwanted body fat. Because I can look at a person and tell what they eat.
Yes.
Isn't that sad?
No, but no, you know what? It's true because I
Yeah.
have worked with people and they'll tell me, "Oh, I barely eat anything," or
Hmm.
things like that, and I know it's not true. And I
Right.
think I think it all starts with honesty. If you're
Right.
not honest with yourself, if you're not true to yourself, because why sit and say, "Well, you know what? I only had this or I didn't have," but it's not true. You won't
Right.
be able to change it until you acknowledge it.
100% take ownership. That's the first thing in AA. Take
Yes,
ownership
it's it's true
of your
because
addiction, and food is an
and food is
addiction.
yeah, and I was about to say food is addictive.
Hmm. Yeah.
Food is so addictive when you think of the
Hmm.
ingredients that go into a lot of food today. Like, I don't think a lot of people take the time to read labels. And a lot of
Right.
our food has a lot of sugar in it. Things
Hmm.
that you wouldn't even think would have sugar, they do have sugar. So I
Right.
think it's important to read the labels and to
Hmm.
really have an understanding about what a proper serving size is. I
Right.
think if a lot of people understood what a serving size
Right.
was, they would realize just how much they're overeating.
I totally agree. And I know some people say eating right is expensive. I said, well, even if you're on a budget, it's the amount of what we're eating
Yes,
that's helping us erase our fitness goals.
it's
And then
true.
and then on top of that, the lack of movement. Because
Yes.
you can eat one meal a day and still be morbidly obese because
Yes.
your metabolism is low. But once
Yes.
you start moving your body, your metabolism increases, you start lifting weights to build more muscle, your metabolism is also increased even at rest. Off comes the weight. Because when we overeat, our body stores those calories in
Yes,
the
it
form of
does.
fat
Yes.
for fuel. And
It's
if
true.
you decrease the amount of the processed foods, the unhealthy foods that you're eating, your body will naturally burn stored fat for fuel, especially when you start working out.
It's true.
You so it's just science. And it's like once you get it, you got it. It's nothing, it's not rocket science and it's not as hard as people make it out to
It's,
be.
what you're saying is gospel truth. I can't say it any other way. It's gospel truth.
It's
I know, and I mean, most of my viewers, they remember a few years back, like I was down to a size 2. Everything that you're saying is the truth. So, I'd like to ask you, because you just went into a little bit of it, but what happens as we age and we stop moving? Because that is what, like, I work from home now and
mhm,
I'm sitting all day.
yeah,
It's like I have noticed a lot more of this weight gain came, like, I'm not even going to the car to go to the office
right,
it's like I am just home all day, literally sitting all day. And it's
right,
like it's showing. And not
yeah,
only is it showing, but I'm feeling it. So I
right.
would like you to explain to the viewers what happens as we age and we stop moving.
Okay. So I like to think of the body as an automobile. And it depends on how you look at your body. If you look at it as a Hyundai or, a Kia and you put regular gas in it, okay, fine. But if you look at your body as a Bentley, you're not going to put regular gas in a Bentley.
Yep.
So you're going to put proper fuel in the machine to make it run. Also, you're never too young to start your fitness journey. When I say that, I mean, if you start early, if you start now, think of it as a savings account.
Yes.
The small steps that you make over the course of your life, I'm not saying go. The reason why these New Year's resolutions don't work is because we go gung ho for 2 weeks and then once we get off, we're done.
Overdo it. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people overdo it,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they were like an athlete in the past. They're
Mm-hmm.
trying to relive the glory days and they
Right.
start too fast and they
Right.
overdo it, get
Right.
burnt out, and they give up. You're so
All
right.
right. It takes baby steps weekly.
Yes,
It takes baby steps weekly because you didn't put the weight on in 1 week.
that's the truth.
You put the weight on over several months, maybe even several years. So give yourself time to reach your ultimate goal. If people don't see progress, I guess because we're in that age of instant gratification, if they're
Yes,
not seeing progress right away, they quit.
it's true.
And so
It's
as
true.
you age, the up and down of your weight affects your overall health. And if you don't build muscle, at some point, if you don't start building muscle, then there's nothing to protect your bones when you get up to 70s, 80s, and you have
Yes,
mobility challenges. You fall and you won't be able to get up.
it's true.
Or you fall and that bone breaks like a pencil.
So true.
When I worked in the rehab center and with patients who've had joint surgeries, those who were physically active, even just walking every day, those who were physically active were in and out 24 hours, 48 hours the most. Those who were inactive were in there for weeks.
Wow.
Because if you don't build muscle, you have muscle wasting called sarcopenia. And when you're sick, is not the time to start building muscle.
Yes.
It's best to have that muscle already at least somewhat toned because you could be morbidly obese and still be healthy and still be in
Yes.
shape
Yes.
and still be strong. So when you age and you stop moving, the muscle becomes weak. And then you're left with nothing but skin and bones with very, very weak muscles. So then you find it hard to get from sitting to standing. You find it hard to open a jar of pickles or open the cap off a bottle of water. things like that. You find it hard to pick something up off the floor because you're weak. So it's never, ever too late to start. Another lady in my class, in my Tuesday class, is 93 years old, and she has been moving from day one. I had to make her sit down, but she's strong just from starting early. She has built a lot of muscle, and she just walks with a cane. But she's in the class and she's doing the weightlifting and she's doing her thing. So, physical fitness, it's the best investment you can make in yourself. Your body is the only place you have to live. So, taking care of it pays off in energy, in confidence, and in quality of life.
Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go.
Oh, okay. Beautiful.
Oh my, I would like to apologize to Rhonda and to the viewers. I do apologize. I see that it's time for a new computer.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
So, my next question is, what would you like to say to parents to encourage them to get their children moving? I have noticed that children don't have recess anymore. I remember when I was growing up, we had recess or playtime. We would go outside like 2 or 3 times for the day. Kids are not doing that anymore. And then there's this addiction to video games. So,
That part.
what would you say to parents?
This is my son, Mason.
Hi.
Say hi. Mm. No. He has special needs, and my purpose for getting more strength is so that I can take care of him and be
Yes.
around long enough to take care of him. And by him watching me train clients and come into the studio, he'll sometimes go grab some weights and just say, "Mommy, look," and just do his own little thing. And the other day, he just on his own went and got on the treadmill. So I believe children, whether they're special needs or not, stop, don't do that. They lead by example.
Yes.
They
Yes.
they
And
lead.
thank you for saying that because there are parents out there who they may have a special needs child and they're not sure what to do.
They all kids lead by example. And even the foods
Yes.
that we eat, like this morning, I had a plate of fruit, grapes and oranges and things. And so he's eating grapes because he sees me eating grapes. Not that I'm perfect, I like my
Right. No,
sweets
I
just
get
like.
it. I get it. I get it.
But yes, I feel it can be a family affair. After
Yes.
dinner, everybody go for a walk around the block or turn on some music and dance in the house. Anything to get more physically active. When my daughter, who's now a sophomore in college, when I took her to soccer practice, I was the only parent who laced up my tennis shoes and was walking around the field while she practiced. A lot of parents choose to just sit. That's the
Right.
perfect time to just get some
Perfect
steps
time.
in.
The
Mm-hmm.
perfect time. I'd like to
Mm-hmm.
welcome Frances Fuller, my stepmother. Thank you for tuning in, Frances. I really appreciate you watching. And Frances lives in London, England. So thank you so
Wow.
much for tuning in. I do appreciate that. So my next question is physical fitness vital to mental and emotional well-being?
100%. I during COVID, I'm being completely transparent right now. I worked at night as an ICU nurse practitioner. And so in order to get enough rest to go to work the next night, I used to take a little sip of, a little drink. And then one glass of Merlot became two glasses of Merlot until my doctor said to me, um, you might want to try something else because that can lead to other problems. And I went, oh my God, am I
Yes.
an alcoholic? So he put me on
No, I
trazodone.
get it.
Yeah, he put me on trazodone. And then that is when I purchased a Peloton bike. That's how I fell in love with spin. I purchased my first Peloton bike during COVID. And then that's how my fitness journey began. And even before then, going through a divorce from my daughter's dad, I had an elliptical machine. I always had something at home.
Yes.
And that makes it even easier too, more convenient to have something at home. And I remember getting on that
Yes.
elliptical machine, crying my eyes out, cursing, yelling, screaming, you know, that mom, this bleep, 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 blah, 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 just saying whatever I needed to say to get to reset my brain. Um and even now when I've had enough, because being a special needs mom is no joke.
No, I get it.
So
I
when I've
get
had
it. I get
enough,
it.
then I just go out in my garage, either get on my bike or get on my treadmill and just walk and cry and talk to God and whatever I need to do. And then I feel empowered when I'm done because I've gotten it out of my system.
It does make a difference. I, will definitely share that. My ex-husband and I, we used to work out together.
Nice.
He was a retired Marine, so we used to go walking. We used to go to the gym every day, and then as when we went our separate ways, I did continue with that. So when I became a certified trainer, I turned my garage into a
Love it.
gym. And that was like my safe
Hmm.
haven, and like what you were saying, it just helped me to get a lot of negativity
Right.
out. I could cry, I could do
Right.
whatever. And then unfortunately, during that time is when my eldest child passed away from an
Oh
asthma attack.
no.
And I tell you, if it was not for working
Mm.
out, that was my saving grace. That was
Wow.
my it really helped
Oh.
me because it helped me to set
Mm.
goals. And I was trying to achieve a higher level of fitness, which at the time I did,
Mm.
and I used it as a time to help motivate other women
Nice.
to
I
work
love.
out. So it helped me a great deal emotionally.
Oh,
And that's why, as I've started to gain weight back since COVID and like not working, I feel the difference.
mm.
I feel sluggish. I don't feel like I don't have the energy levels that I used to. I'm not as motivated about things as I could be.
Wow.
And I just have to think back to that time when, you know, those who know me, they know that I
Right.
struggled when I lost my
Oh my
son.
goodness.
But working out was definitely my saving grace. So
Wow.
this conversation with you, because I watch your videos all the time on Facebook.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't get to comment because I may sneak a glance here and there when as I'm working, but it is so motivating
Really?
to see beautiful
Ah,
women out there working out
oh,
together, laughing,
oh my
smiling,
gosh.
having a good time. Sometimes you don't realize that people are paying attention,
Really?
and sometimes you don't realize that you're
Oh
motivating people.
wow.
But it's like I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, just a few years ago, that was me.
Right.
Just a few years ago, this is how I looked. This is what I was able to do. So it's like I've told myself, okay, I just turned 62, and that in itself, at first was depressing.
Mm,
But then I was like, why are you being depressed? Look, all you got to do, girl, is just
that's
get
it.
back on your bike, get back on your treadmill. You know what to do. That's the sad thing about it for me. I know what to do, but I am like inspired, you know? So
Good.
this is like my goal to get back into it. So, like Andrew, he's saying hello to all and he's saying community is
That
important.
part.
Yes, it
That part.
is.
And a lot of
Yes, it
times it's
is.
hard to get started on your own. That's what we love
Yes.
about Level Up Fitness community. We've found we hold on a second. Mason, turn it down. I'm sorry. He's just doing the
That's
most.
okay. That's okay.
All for
That's
attention.
okay.
But anyone who's come through Level Up Fitness community, they can feel the acceptance, they can feel the love, they can feel the
Yes.
support. I tell them this is a judgment-free zone. If you come on that bike and all you can do is sit there and ride and just pedal at a slow pace, at least you came through the door. And we applaud you for
Yes.
that. And once and all my riders, they come in completely green. And by the time after a couple of weeks, they're like, Coach Rhonda, I feel like I can do anything. I said, because you can. You can with the
Yes.
proper training, with patience and consistency, just like any new
Yes.
skill. It just takes time. Give
It's
yourself
true.
time.
It's true. It's so true. And you know the benefits of working out with a group, I think it's encouraging,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
motivating. I remember a few years back, you know, I was encouraging some of the church members to participate in a
Oh,
5K. And I tell you, I was very proud of the
nice.
performance. You know, it's like people trained and they got out there and they did their thing.
Nice.
And I'm telling you, in a group situation, it's like some people will say, you know what, I want to keep up with
Yep.
this group. Because there's always that lead
Yep.
group, or you know what, if I can stay with this middle
Mm-hmm.
group. And then those who are behind, they can motivate each other to let's try to improve so we can get ahead with one of the other groups. But it's always a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
thing, I think, to do a group
Mm-hmm.
situation. I like working out
Mm-hmm.
individually, but I do believe that a group situation is also a great
Because
thing.
working out with a group, someone will motivate you and push you harder than you would push
Yes.
yourself.
Yes, definitely. I definitely agree with that. What is a good way for a beginner to start working
Just
out?
walking. Just start walking.
Yes, I agree.
I tell my clients, I have one lady that I train here, and I said, just lay your clothes out the night before. Lay your clothes out the night
Yes,
before. As soon as your feet hit the floor, change your clothes and just go. Just walk around the block just one time. Come in, take a shower,
yes,
and then you have the rest of your day. I find that when we don't plan, how do they say? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Fitness
it's
takes
true.
preparation. You have to
It
consciously
does.
put it on your schedule and make time for it. Make time for yourself. That's your time that no one's
It's
going to
true.
give to you. That's like something you have to fight for every day because that's what you need for your body so that you are mentally strong, physically strong, emotionally strong to deal with the day-to-day stressors of life. So that's
I totally agree with you. And let me ask you this. What would you say to the person that says, I just don't have enough time? I remember I used to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get it
mm-hmm.
in, you know, because I knew that when I would get home from work,
Mm,
I had good
right,
intentions, but sometimes it just didn't
right,
happen. So I do believe sometimes we have to sacrifice
right.
something. Sometimes it may be a little
Mhm.
sleep. I mean, what would you like to say to the viewers about that, making the time?
Well, I think if you make it a task, like a daunting task or like a punishment, that you're not going to be
Yes.
motivated or willing to do it. Let's say you're at work, take the stairs instead of the elevator. The old
Yeah.
saying, park your car far away from the door, the entrance of the door. That's another way.
Yes.
You're sitting at home watching TV, you can get up during the commercials and march in place.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what else? Let's see. If you don't want to join a gym, then like I said before, walk around the block. Find the time that you could fit in what works in your lifestyle. If
Yes.
carrying your clothes, packing your clothes and take them with you to work, that way you go straight to the gym before you go home,
Yes.
that's another option. And there's
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of
true.
apps available, a lot of workouts on YouTube. You just have to figure out once you prioritize yourself and realize that
Yes.
you are important enough, and you care enough about yourself to do what you need to do for your health, so that when you get to retirement, you can actually enjoy it,
Yes.
then I always throw it back on the other person. I say, okay, well, when you're ready, we'll be here. Like how people say to me all the time, I'm coming, I'm coming. I was like, okay, when you're ready, we'll be here. We're not going
Yeah.
anywhere. And I don't do it to make anyone feel guilty. I'm just offering an
No, of course
avenue.
not.
If you want to do it, come on. Come on.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know what? As you get fitter, I remember a few years back going on a cruise, and it's like I could just run up the
Yeah.
steps, you know? It's like I could just run up those
Yeah.
steps. Last cruise, I could barely walk up those steps, and I'm thinking
Wow.
like, wow, Bridget, like, come
Yeah.
on. And I'm thinking this is just a few years
Wow.
ago. But I'm like, you know what? It's just a matter, like you're saying, making up your
Right.
mind, making it a
Right.
priority, because at the end of the day, it's
It
important.
is.
And I'm telling you, stairs will tell you if you're healthy or
I'm
not.
telling you. People say it's hard. Working out is hard. Okay, how hard is it to get up that one flight of stairs?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. If you are going up a flight and you
And you
stairs
gotta
and you feel
stop.
yourself huffing and puffing, then it's like it's a wake up call. And I tell you, in my last home, I lived in a townhome, and I used to take sometimes my dumbbells or kettlebells, and I would run up and down the
Yeah.
stairs.
That's
You know, I would do that, and sometimes just even doing that for 5 minutes, I'm telling you what a difference it would
wow.
make. So it's like, yeah, I mean, having stairs, I and not having stairs, I do miss that,
Mm,
not having them, having them, because it was convenient
mhm,
sometimes just to do a quick workout. I didn't feel like going on the
mm,
treadmill, so it's hello, Mikey. Thank you
mhm,
so much for tuning in. But like you were saying, there's YouTube. There are so many ways to work out. Like I have an exercise bike. What I like to do is, and something I would like to do more of, is there are videos on YouTube of like it's like a virtual
mm,
ride. And it's like they have like you could be riding up the mountains, you could be riding by the
mhm,
beach, you could be I enjoy those. I think that they're a lot of
mhm.
fun. If you don't have weights, you can use your little water
Yeah, you sure
bottles
can.
until you work your way up to
Yeah.
something heavier. But there's a will, there's definitely a
But I don't
way.
want people to think that, working out is the only way. That's only 5% of the equation.
Yes.
95% of it is what you decide to put in your mouth, you know?
Yes, and that's so
Right?
true.
And I tell them all the time at the end of class, you cannot out train a bad diet. There is no
It's
way.
true.
It takes it takes you burning, how much is, I think it's 3,500. I wrote it down. 1 pound of fat equals about 3,500 calories. So to lose one
Yes.
pound, you need to burn about 3,500 more calories than you eat. So as we eat
Yes.
breakfast, then we sit, we eat lunch, and then we sit, we eat dinner, then we sit, all those calories add up. And then it's stored in your
It's
body
true.
as fat. So as you cut your portion sizes down, your body would naturally start burning stored fat for fuel. And then you add
Yes.
exercise on top of that, guaranteed success at weight loss. And that's your own.
You will see success. And you're so right. Now, what would you say to those, like for me, and this is the habit I want to get back to. It was like Monday through
Mhm.
Friday, I would eat all the healthy things, and then I would save the things that I know I shouldn't have for the
Okay.
weekend. But then it's like as things started to happen, and then I found it went back to the old way.
Mhm.
So it's like I think we have to be
Yeah.
intentional. Like I would tell the clients that I train to keep a food journal,
Mm.
because I would tell them if you're truthful in that food journal, if you're losing or if you're gaining, you can go back and look through your food
Mm.
journal, to see what you ate. If you're being honest with
Mm.
yourself, I think that food journal will make a
That's a good
difference.
idea. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's very. I think it's very effective
Mhm.
if you're truthful.
Well, I mean, it's and to go back what you said in the beginning, I believe once you make your eating a lifestyle, then
Yes.
having those things that aren't conducive to weight loss, having a little bit of it won't completely undo all of your work.
Right.
And it's just
Right.
moderation. People don't understand what it means. Moderation
Moderation.
is like, you can have a slice of cake, but you can't have a slice of cake every day.
Right. And that's the truth. It may taste good, but it's not worth it at the end of the day. And that is so true. I'd like to welcome Olive Hay. And Olive, thank you for letting me know. And I will make sure I call my mom to pass on that message. And I'd like to tell you that I'm very sorry to read this news about Lance's
Oh, I'm
passing. Very
sorry.
sorry.
Mm,
Yeah, Lance, my father, I think of my Aunt Hazel, all of those who have passed
mm,
on. This podcast tonight is to encourage those of us who, listen, we have the opportunity
every
every day
day,
when we
every
wake up,
day.
whether we're going to do the right thing by ourselves or the wrong
Right.
thing. And for some people, it's just
Right.
age as they're getting older. But I'm saying life is a
Mm,
blessing, and it's like our body is a
yep.
temple. And that's the thing that has been playing through my mind a lot lately. Like, are you really showing God thanks for this
Mm,
temple, the way you've been treating it?
mm,
I mean, we have to be very
mm.
mindful of our lifestyle, which is my next question. How important is lifestyle change?
Well, lifestyle change, lifestyle change is it's everything. Quick fixes fade, but lifestyle change lasts. Fitness has to become part of
Yes,
who you are, not just something you do for a season. Um, the way you choose to eat has to become a lifestyle, not just something you do for that moment.
yes. That is so true. And something that I remember reading years ago about, it takes, like, I think it says 28 days to form a
Mm-hmm.
habit. And I think once it becomes a habit, it becomes a part of your
Right.
lifestyle. But then if you're working out, as we mentioned earlier, the nutrition, that's all a part of the
Right.
lifestyle
Right.
change. Will you become more active? If there are bad habits that you have, are you willing to put those
Right.
aside? And I do believe in the whole mind, body, and spirit
100%.
connection. So it's like, are you taking care of your mental health?
Mm,
Are you, you know, taking care of your spiritual
mm,
health? Because I do believe spending time with God, being in the Word, I think that's a vital part of our health.
100%.
I really believe that. So I think it's like just making that commitment. Will I, start my day with a
Right.
devotion? Or some people, they
Right.
meditate, whatever it is you choose to do.
Love it.
But I think that lifestyle changes everything, because if you're working out and you're not getting enough sleep,
Mm,
well, is it really worth it?
yeah.
We have to be mindful of all our
Right.
habits. I mean, what would you like to say? Talk about the importance of
Oh my
sleep.
gosh. I tell my clients, I says, I don't encourage people to work out hard every single day. You do
Yes.
arms, upper body one day, and then you do cardio. Let's say a normal routine for me, Mondays is my leg day, Tuesday is my upper body day, Wednesday is my
Yeah.
cardio day, and then Thursday again is my leg day, Friday is my upper body day, and then Saturday is cardio, and then Sunday is rest. The body
Yes.
needs rest. And
Yes, it
you will
does.
notice the biggest change once you rest. Once you pull away from it and you just rest, it's like your body goes shrinks down. So
Yeah, it's
because when
true.
you don't get the proper sleep, then you have extra cortisol, your body's holding on to extra fat that it could, easily burn off if you got the proper rest and hydration.
Yes. And that's an area where I
Yeah.
struggle. I don't like the taste of
Mhm.
water, which is weird. I know a lot of people don't get
Mhm.
that, but I know I see it in my skin and how I feel. Like I definitely need to drink more
Mhm.
water. Now, you mentioned quick fixes earlier. I would like us to talk about
Mhm.
that. Quick
Mhm.
fixes, are they gimmicks and are they dangerous? I've had people come to me and tell me that, oh, well, if they have this drink or if they do this, that that's all they need to do. And I get very frustrated with this because it's to me a lot of it is very bad
Mhm.
advice. And it's like, to me, working out, like you mentioned earlier, you didn't gain the weight
Right.
overnight. You won't lose it
Right.
overnight. I don't, when people think if I drink this water that may have pepper or lemon or whatever it is, and I drink this for a week, I'll lose the weight. But will you drink that
Right.
forever?
Right.
These gimmicky things, are you willing to? Because some of these things, I mean, people are taking medications and things of that
Right.
nature, but will it will it stand the test of
Right.
time? I mean, what's your take on it?
Well, I feel with any gimmick or fad, I mean, you change up your eating, and basically pretty much what you're doing is just decreasing your calories. So naturally you're going to lose weight. But do I think they're dangerous? Absolutely, because most quick fixes are
Yes,
unsustainable and it can even harm your health.
yes,
So the real
yes,
results come from building strong habits over time. That's the only way.
yes. I definitely agree with that, which leads to my next question. Slow and steady wins the race. What's your opinion? That I mean, I truly believe it's you have to put in the work, you have to put in the effort, you have to
Yeah,
sweat. It's just not going to happen and where you can sustain it without you putting in the work.
correct.
So, what's your
It's
opinion
the
on that?
truth. It's the absolute truth. Lasting results don't come overnight. Consistency and patience always win.
Yes. Yes. What would you say to those that always, I was one of those, I'm guilty that I used to get on the scale all the time. I remember my sister telling me, I'm coming over to your house and I plan to throw away your scale because she's like, you keep, and I was obsessed with the
Yeah.
scale at one point. And I remember the numbers were not going down, but as time went on, and it took a little while for the scale to go down, but my clothes were
Mhm.
fitting better. There was a difference in how my body was
Right.
shaped, and I could see the muscle
Yes.
definition. So what would you like to say to those who are like obsessed with the scale?
Well, I mean, in proper context, if you're building muscle, muscle weighs more than fat.
More than
So
fat,
you're
yeah.
gonna see the scale go up. Like right now, I'm like
Yes,
183 and I would love to be 165, but then I look at my thighs and they are solid. They are
yes,
super solid. So I mean, if your goal is to be skinny, most people who want to be skinny, they don't lift weights. They don't lift heavy weights. They don't do a lot of strength training. They do a lot of cardio. So you're gonna shrink.
yes.
So I don't believe in the whole BMI thing. I mean,
Yeah, I think too many women get obsessed
mm-mm,
with that. To be honest with you, I was one of them at one
mhm,
point. Now, I will say this. I had gotten down to a size 2.
mhm,
I could put on a size 2 dress without unzipping
mhm,
it back then.
mhm,
But when looking at those pictures, my body, I felt my body was fine, but in my face,
mm,
you could see that it wasn't a healthy
skin
look.
and bones.
It definitely wasn't a healthy
Right.
look. Now, I was very thin, but I wasn't eating. I
Mhm.
mean, because I was depressed about the loss of my
Oh
son.
yeah.
I was going through my life
Right.
struggles. So to be honest with you, I barely ate. I'm telling
Mm.
you, I lived off like crackers and cheese.
Wow.
Like there were some days I could probably eat like 8
Right.
crackers, a couple slices of
Right.
cheese. And I'm telling you, I would be fine with
Mm.
that. Maybe an applesauce here and there. My eating was atrocious,
Mm.
and I would say that, yeah, I mean, physically I looked great.
Mhm.
But like I said, in my
Mm.
face and how I felt,
Mm.
And looking back, I told myself my goal is to get back down, but not to a size
Mm,
2. I'm
mm,
4'11", so it didn't look as bad as it could have
mhm.
looked, but I think we have to be realistic and we have to be
Yeah.
careful, because the way I did it, and I was a personal trainer. It's not what I would have advised a client to do, like eat eight, crackers a day
Yeah.
with cheese, and it was not it was not sustainable. I mean, I felt it.
Right.
But I look back and I think it was a lot of it was psychological.
Mm,
I felt like I don't want to say I was punishing myself, but it
mm,
was somehow I felt like I didn't deserve to eat. It was weird, but that's where I really believe we have to take care of the mind,
mhm,
body, and the spirit.
mm,
And you can't focus on one area because it's easy to lose your way,
mhm.
especially when life circumstances may come your
It
way.
sounds to me when you were going through that, that was probably the only thing you felt you had control over.
Yes. You know what? And that's you said it
Mhm,
perfectly. It's true.
mhm,
It's true because at that time it seemed that everything was
mhm,
falling apart.
mhm,
And the only thing I was able to control was what I put in my
mhm,
mouth. And I remember people would say to me all the time, "Come on, just eat a little
mhm,
something," or but I just did
mhm,
not want to
mhm,
eat.
mhm,
And it's crazy, but it's not like after a while I got to the point where I couldn't eat a lot
mhm,
because it's like my body couldn't take
mhm.
it because I just got so used to not
Your stomach
eating.
shrunk.
And that definitely was, yeah, it did.
Mhm,
It honestly did. And I'm telling you, I remember someone saying to me one day, "I'm not like you. I can't live off air." But
mhm,
it's like my body had just gotten used to eating once a
mhm.
day. I mean,
And actually,
it's
actually,
crazy.
eating once a day, eating smaller amounts, eating on a smaller plate, um, people don't realize how many calories they consume that they actually really don't need. Because
It's
because even
true.
though you were eating very little, you were eating enough to sustain for the whole day. So you were
Yes.
doing something right. And for your frame, for your size, that one small meal a day may be all your body actually needs.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. It's true.
Mhm.
It's true. But I will say, back then I was going through perimenopause at the time.
Okay.
So I was struggling with sleep.
Um,
So that that was not very helpful.
yeah.
But I will say that physically
Mhm.
I was strong.
Mhm.
You know, I was running back then. I could run for 2.5 hours,
Wow.
you know. I don't know if I could run for 2 minutes now, but it's like I was so dedicated, like
Mhm.
fitness and not eating. Those were the two things that were big in my life at the
Mhm.
time. But I will say that going through the grieving phase, I mean, working out was a godsend. It
Mm.
was a distraction, but it helped me to relax. It took my mind away from the stress of the situation.
Wow.
So it was I would tell anyone that I would recommend working out, but you have to do it the right
Right.
way, and I think you do have to follow proper
Correct.
nutrition.
Correct. Because you have to fuel your muscles. Yes.
Yes.
Aw.
Yes.
Aw.
Most definitely. I'm telling you, like I said, looking back, I look at the
Right.
pictures and I definitely was not
Healthy. Okay.
healthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely see
Yeah.
that. you know. So now let's talk about physical fitness with it being an investment to self. I personally think that working out, you're thanking God for this gift of
Mhm.
life, but you're also telling yourself that, hey, I'm worth it. I'm worth the time, I'm worth the effort. Yes, sometimes it may be a slight
Right.
inconvenience, but at the end of the day, I'm investing in my body.
100%.
And like you mentioned the car earlier, you're going to put the best in your car. You're going to take, so your body is no different. So I'd like you to address that.
That's true. I mean, the choices we make now will impact us later on. I mean, I've always been passionate about health and wellness, especially being a nurse. And I find nurse practitioners tend to do more. Nothing against physicians, but at least in my circle, nurse practitioners tend to do more of setting the example. What I'm telling you, I've also going through that, especially as a GI nurse practitioner. When my patients come to me and they're complaining about their constipation and things like that, and their indigestion, and first thing we talk about is, what do you eat? What are you eating? And most people already know what the culprit is. And then I'm just reinforcing what they already know and offering them that encouragement. Okay,
Yes.
your body is responding to what you're putting in it. So if you don't want to feel this way,
Yes.
you're gonna have to make different choices.
Yes. That is so true. Now, I'd like you to talk about fiber. How important is fiber? Because a lot of processed foods don't really have much
That's
fiber in
true.
it. And a lot of people are eating foods where, I mean, constipation is a problem for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people. It's miserable, it's
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable, but it's like if you're not eating the foods with
Mm-hmm.
fiber so that you can eliminate your
Mm-hmm.
waste, I mean, foods with fiber, if I'm correct, they're more filling
Correct.
and they tend to be
Correct.
healthier. So I'd like you to address
Okay.
fiber.
Fiber-rich foods include fruits and vegetables from the Mother Earth. Fruits and vegetables, specifically fruit. I love fruit because it also has water in it. A lot of why people are constipated is because they're not drinking water as well. Um, One thing I encourage them is take some Miralax every day, partly because Miralax helps to clean out the colon, and then you have to drink it with water. But I'll ask them, I said, well, do you eat any apples? Oh, no, I don't eat any fruit. Well, that's the most natural way to get fiber into your diet. Even when most patients go on this keto diet, which eliminates fruit because fruit is considered a sugar, their first
Yeah.
complaint is bloating and constipation. So you have to get some form of fiber in your diet, whether it's a supplement
Yes.
or whether it's by getting a salad or some fruit. And
Yes.
a lot of reason why people develop colon cancer is because they're not moving their bowels regularly, and then they're consuming way too many like too much red meat and pork. So your
Yes.
bowels have to constantly be moving. They automatically move through peristalsis, our entire GI tract anyway. So when you're not giving it the fluid that it needs or giving it the push that it needs, it's gonna sit there. And then some people end up with diverticulitis flares because they're not maintaining a high fiber diet. So these are things that you can do to help yourself. People come to me in the clinic because they want a cure. Well, your cure starts in your kitchen.
Yes. Yes. I like how you put that. And, you know, I remember a personal trainer telling me years ago about cutting out fruit because it has sugar. And I remember saying, but like, that's God's
Right.
sugar. I think there's a difference between God given sugar compared to like the processed
Correct.
foods and the
Right.
candies and things of that
Right.
nature. Now, if I'm correct, I do believe that people who are diabetic, they may have to watch their
The
sugar
amount.
levels. But
Hmm.
I think to eliminate fruit is
Right.
ridiculous because at the end of the day, your taste buds do want something that fruit is
It's
good in my
sweet. Yes.
opinion. Right. So I think we have to be mindful and like we're talking about gimmicks and things of that
Correct.
nature. I think we have to listen to our bodies when we try to take on things that because to me that's a red flag if someone is saying no
Oh,
fruit. I
yes.
mean that's just me.
I have heard that before, and there are some strict keto diets that tell you no fruit, but keep in mind that things like keto diets are not meant to be sustained on forever. It's
Okay.
strictly just to get you to burn the most amount of fat as you or calories as you can in a short period of time. Because think about it, how we feel on a keto diet, we're not getting any carbs. At least fruit is giving you some
Yes.
carbs. We're not getting any carbs. We have brain fog, we have the keto flu, things like that. And how are you going to get through a work day without giving your brain cells the glucose and energy that it needs?
What you're saying is the truth. I'm telling you, I remember when I had cut out, I didn't for a very long time. I didn't eat bread.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't eat rice. I didn't eat potatoes. I mean, like I said, there was so much that I cut
Mm-hmm.
out. But I'm telling you, the brain
Mm-hmm.
fog, sometimes not being able to
Mm-hmm.
think clearly, I felt
Yeah,
it. I
it's
felt
real.
it, and I was like, I think what my saving grace was the
Oh.
crackers, at the end of the day. But I think, I remember seeing something with a nutritionist that said that your plate should be colorful. You know, you want the variety of fruit and
Right.
vegetables and whatever else you choose to
Correct.
eat. So I do think that we need to do the research and we need to trial and error. How is your body
Right.
feeling? Because at the end of the day, I think your body will tell you
It
the
will.
truth.
It will. Pay attention to how you feel when you eat certain foods, and becoming more
Yes.
aware of what it feels like to actually be full, not stuffed, to be
Yes.
not full, to
Right.
be
Full. Yes.
satisfied. Because a friend of mine, she
Yes.
owns Evolve Total Health, and she has a saying, Dr. Jay Cherie, she has a saying, eat for satisfaction. No, sorry, eat for survival, not satisfaction. So that means you
Yes.
stop so.
I think that's good. Now all of it's saying God always talks about honey and not sugar. Now I know I've
Ah,
heard some people talk about that they don't have honey.
oh,
Now some people do not. I don't mind
yeah,
honey from time to
yeah,
time, every now and
yeah.
then. But what would you say to the viewers about whether it's sugar or honey? You
Mhm,
know, because some people, like I do have a sweet
mhm,
tooth, but I don't deal with artificial
mhm.
sweeteners because I just think that they're
Yeah.
poison. So, would you suggest to the viewers that maybe, like as I mentioned earlier, keeping a food
Mhm,
journal and like really starting to do some
mhm,
reading, watch some videos, but
mhm.
do your research before, making changes to your
Right.
diet?
Yes, I'm a firm believer in honey. Like my son, I don't give him regular syrup. I put honey
Okay.
over his protein pancakes when I make them. And
Okay.
agave syrup is a good one too. So, and even pure molasses is better
Yes.
than the other syrups that has what is it? Corn fructose or corn
Oh,
syrup.
yes, yeah. Right, right, right. And I remember, and I mentioned on a previous podcast that I think it was during the
Mhm.
80s when they started to use that corn
Mm.
syrup. And that's when they talked about the obesity rates going through the
Mhm.
roof, because it was in
Everything.
everything. And it made you crave these foods even more.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they did this because they knew that you people were just because and then all of a sudden
Right.
they started to
Right.
supersize the meals, which was ridiculous because I used to say, who could eat all of
Right.
that? But people were
Right.
eating it.
Yeah.
So I think we do have to be mindful and really do our
Right.
research.
Right. It's all about a culture change. Also,
Yes, I mean, yes. And now, I would like you to give the viewers the details if they want to check out your
oh, sure.
studio. Do you have an online community? If someone wants to reach out to you for a consultation, how do they go about doing that?
Sure, sure. So, I have an app. As a matter of fact, let me get my first and foremost, you can always text me on the business line. It's 561-331-0926. And I have this flyer that I put out. Should post it on social media. Nurse, don't forget your prescription is exercise. And so this is my picture of nurse practitioner by day, fitness coach by night. And you can scan this QR code and it'll take you to my booking app. On the booking app, you'll see the class schedules, you'll see the pricings for the personal training sessions as well as the one-on-one sessions, and the different packages that we offer in our studio.
Okay, feel free, if you don't mind, send me
Okay.
the flyer and I'll put it on my Facebook
Okay.
wall.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I really enjoyed our
Likewise.
conversation, and I'm hoping that you will
For
come back
sure.
because I would definitely love to talk about this some
Okay.
more. And I would like to ask you, do you have any closing
Sure.
thoughts? What would you like to say to the viewers before we close the podcast for tonight?
Sure. I've always been passionate about health and wellness as a nurse, and especially as a nurse practitioner, and as a person who wanted just I just wanted more for myself. I find helping people in the clinical setting as well as on the personal setting very rewarding. Fitness became a way to heal, a way to get strong, and a way to set an example for my family, especially my son and my daughter.
Yes,
Eventually, I realized I wanted to help others experience that same transformation. And, I've always struggled with my weight. Even as a little girl, I've struggled with my weight. I grew up in the environment where you were told to finish your plate because people in Ethiopia are hungry. And so here I am
yeah,
50 years later. No, I don't need to finish my plate. I only need one saucer a day or one meal a day or two meals a day to sustain my body and to sustain weight loss, but most importantly, movement. In addition to cutting the calories, I've been able to help my mom reach her weight loss goals through the education that I've gained over the years. So I'll help anyone. I've helped my best friend lose weight. I said, you just do this, 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 and this. And she did it. And thankfully, she did it before she got injured because her boyfriend was able to carry her up the stairs. Before, he wouldn't have been able to carry her up the stairs.
right,
So
right.
I'll help anyone. I'll help anyone who wants help. I'll help you reach your goals. But I'm a firm believer in accountability. You have to take
Yes,
ownership. Oops, sorry. Sorry about that. You have to take ownership of your health and fitness and be willing to put in the work and learn to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's the only
yes.
way to see change. That's the only way to grow. And you can take that in your personal life too. When you start to feel uncomfortable, things aren't quite right. That's because you're growing. Something's coming next. You're moving to the next level. You're leveling up.
I agree. I totally agree. And something that, I would like to say is that you don't want your trainer to want it for you more than you want it for
Yeah.
yourself, right? I think you really have to have that desire. And I think if you listen to the professional, who is trying to guide you, I think you'll have
Yeah.
success. And like, I'm telling you, you have
Oh,
motivated me.
that's what
I mean, you
good.
have because, and it's like I said, I feel bad for the weight gain because I have the know-how, I have the
Yeah, but
knowledge.
don't feel
But
bad. It's just your
yeah,
focus changed.
it
That's
did.
all.
It did. It really and truly
Mhm.
did. But I will tell you, working out, I feel at my best.
Good.
So, like I said, thank you for the videos that you
Mhm.
share because they are very
Thank
motivating and very
you.
uplifting. So know that, and like I know people watch the podcast, they may not comment, but when I talk to them and they'll tell me, hey, I watched this episode and they tell me about the episode and what they got out of
Okay.
it. So I get that. Yeah. So I know that, so I'm saying this for you that trust me, keep on putting your videos out
Okay.
there.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
keep on putting your videos out there. And one more time, tell the viewers where to find your studio if they're in the West Palm
Yes,
area.
1897 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, Suite 202. Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right off the I-95 exit in the David Wood Plaza. I think that's what they call it. Right in the plaza where the Renaissance School is. And let me pull up my booking website. I'll type it in. Should I type it in the chat? Is there a chat?
You could do that.
Okay. Let's do this. Oh, let me see. I don't use much. I just don't care for it. Let's see.
Or you can put it on my Facebook wall later if you text it to
Okay.
me. I'll put all that information
Okay.
on my wall.
Okay.
And I would just like to say thank you for the encouragement and the
You're
motivation.
welcome.
And I am hoping to have you back
Sure.
soon. I'll definitely reach out to see your
Okay.
availability. And I'd like to say to the viewers, please feel free to share this
Hmm.
episode. If you're in the West Palm area, hey, stop by Level Up
Yeah.
and tell Rhonda that you watched the
I'll
podcast.
be in at the Palm Beach Marina this Saturday at an event called Sunrise and Thrive. If anyone's free, tickets are available on Eventbrite. I'll be there from 9 a.m. to noon. It's a very empowering event where local fitness professionals are in one room. We have yoga, we have Pilates, we have a belly dancer, we have a line dancer, we have a pole dancer, and of course we have a spin. So
Oh, that sounds very
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Sounds like a
A
lot of
lot of
fun.
fun. Bring your gym, wear your gym clothes and come and meet us. And you never know, you might fall into something else that you're passionate about. But thank you so much for
I mean,
having
that
me.
that sounds good. Oh, you're welcome. I mean, like I said, thank you. I really appreciate this, and I'm looking forward to having you back. And I'd like to wish everyone a blessed
Yes.
week, and thank you for tuning in once again. Have a great night,
Good night.
everyone. Take care.